All right, well, welcome back to the channel. We are doing a quick test drive this evening. My car just updated to FSD 14.3.6. So I thought I would take it out, put it through its paces, and head over to a Supercharger and top off with a little bit of energy, and we'll talk about it as we go. I'm really not expecting anything dramatic because I have found all of the 14.3 builds up to this point to be pretty good. Like every build, there are people online who think it's the greatest thing ever and other people who think it's a terrible regression and no one should ever run it. So I tend to come down in a more positive camp usually, but I'm honest. I also don't go out and do anything crazy and push the edge cases. I just drive the way I would drive on any given day and have the car take me places I would go. And a Supercharger is one of those places, so that's what we're doing tonight. Anybody else out there got 14.3.6 already? I saw a huge contingent of people on Twitter this evening saying that there was a new wave going out, particularly to hardware for or AI for cars. So that's what the camp I'm in.
Nice. Hopefully it's smooth.
So shout out to my buddy Joe. If you watch this video, you'll see your text message just come through. She is a fellow Arizona Tesla owner, and I texted her earlier to let her know that my car was getting the new update. So look forward to sharing the results with her. I'm still trying to make up my mind about what kind of microphone setup to use. I have 3 different setups that I've been trying at different times. Not all of these videos have been published. The set I'm using right now is actually an older microphone, wireless microphone setup from Rode. It is their wireless Go mics. It was the very first generation they made. So it's 1 transmitter and 1 receiver wirelessly, and then it's physically plugged into my media mod for my GoPro Hero 8 Black. I think this has a pretty decent sound for being the oldest setup. I've also got a Rode stereo video mic that I use occasionally, and I'm also testing out the new DJI Mic 3 setup with a pair of transmitters and a single receiver base. So since it's nighttime and there's not a lot of traffic out, I'm actually going to go roll this down into chill mode because I'm not looking to get a ticket. So if you're new to this channel and haven't watched any of my videos before, you may not know, but I have low vision. It's associated with my albinism, which means that I need to drive with a bioptic lens. So at the top of this pair of glasses I'm wearing is a telescope that is mounted that allows me to drop my head down, glance through the telescope, and get some distance viewing. It's great, especially during daytime driving. At night, traffic lights like the one ahead are very easy to spot without looking through the scope, so I don't need it quite as much. During the daytime, I wear a pair of slip-behind sunglass shades because I'm also light sensitive, but obviously I don't wear the sunglass slip behinds at night. And I have found with full self driving that oftentimes I get a few more nag warnings from the cabin camera at night that's watching and doing my face and eye tracking. It sometimes think I'm not paying as much of attention at night as it does during the day. And the only 2 differences are that I'm not wearing those sunglasses, and I also have nystagmus, which means my eyes move involuntarily a bit. And even though I'm looking straight forward, someone looking at my eyes may look like I'm glancing in other directions. So I just do the best I can. I make a concerted effort to pay really close attention and focus on the road. And some nights, like tonight, it goes pretty well. And other nights, it sometimes likes to nag me saying, you need to pay attention and put your hands on the wheel. So I'm actually keeping one hand on the wheel as we're driving, just as a precaution. It generally makes things go a little bit smoother in a Tesla with full self-driving. So far, all of this has been very smooth, very predictable, very much the full self-driving 14.3 train that I'm accustomed to. So have not noticed any difference. All right, the warning message about preconditioning the battery just went away, so I guess the batteries are up to temp and ready for some supercharging. This certainly will not be a long supercharging session because when I left the house, we were still over 70% battery. We might be in the upper 60s by the time we get to the supercharger. I don't think I'll take it past about 85%. I know the general recommendation is 80% for daily driving, and that's most of what I'm doing. But sometimes when I run over here, it can take 3 to 5% of battery to get back home from the supercharger, and I like to wind up close to 80. So I'll usually top off a little bit above and then ride it back down to 80 on the way home. The superchargers are up ahead on the left. The car generally likes to take a little snake route through the back of this shopping center and kind of weave its way over to the superchargers. It'll probably do that again tonight. It's pretty consistent. Then we're going to make another right. Then another left, and we will be there. So I would characterize this drive as being very typical of 14.3. Didn't see anything out of the ordinary, nothing major different, nothing worse. It's just the same. So let's see how it does when it backs into a spot here. Now, typical Arizona, our parking spaces are very, very faded. No one ever repaints parking lines, so even FSD on a good day has a little bit of trouble getting into a spot and lining up inside the lines. I wouldn't blame it if it screws this up. Yeah, it's going to park on the line. I'm not happy with that parking job, so I will redo it. All right, we are back at it. Battery is topped off at 85%, and we're just gonna have full self-driving take us back home. So here we go. So in the first half of this video, I talked a little bit about what it is like driving with low vision and using a bioptic telescope for distance viewing. In Arizona, the Motor Vehicle Department requires an annual recertification. So I have to go see my vision specialist, my low vision specialist, annually to get my eyes rechecked, fill out a form that basically recertifies that my vision still complies with the minimums required to drive in Arizona, and that form is faxed back into the Motor Vehicle Department. Just did that for the first time in July, and it was a non-event other than I had to drive 40 minutes across town for the appointment, which only lasted 30 minutes, and then I was done. So I will say it does seem like a little unnecessary burden that is required under Arizona law, because my vision doesn't change any more or less than the average public. So I've had pretty much the same vision my whole life, and year over year, there's not going to be any significant differences. I think it's odd that we allow other drivers who require corrective lenses to drive indefinitely without a recheck of their vision, but somehow someone like me, I have to do it annually, which means I'm paying out of pocket to go see this specialist. And I don't know, just not real big on that. So I may actually draft some correspondence to my state representatives and see if we might consider making a change to that legislation. And really, I realize that not everyone who's driving with special accommodations is in the same situation that I am. Some people may have degenerative conditions that require close monitoring, but for people who don't, we should really allow individual doctors to make a case-by-case determination. And as my eye doctor pointed out, she checks the box on the form that says this person doesn't require follow-up. In other words, she's already telling them that my vision is unlikely to change on a yearly basis, but the MVD just puts us all into one bucket and forces us to go through a review annually. And that's the part I'd like to see changed. I'd like to see the doctors have some discretion. And I don't care if we want to do it every 5 years or every third year or something, just something that's not quite annual. Those were kind of bizarre lane markers back there. The car handled it very nicely. We're in a right turn only lane as we approach that light. But prior to the right turn lane, there were arrows indicating like a lane merge, like the lane was ending and we needed to merge left, but it didn't actually end. If you've been around Teslas at all, you'll understand they like to try and wipe away glare, whether it's night lights at glare or sunlight at sunrise and sunset. Car likes to try and clean the windshield. The irony being, I literally cleaned the windshield before we went on this drive, so it could not have been any cleaner, and yet it's trying to clean itself. Well, so far, no abnormal brake stabbing events, no strange behavior. Again, with few cars out at night, it's a little difficult to get a true representation, and I haven't taken it out on the freeway yet. We'll do that on Saturday. But so far, so good. Enjoying 14.3.6. If you are in the market to buy a Tesla and you're thinking about placing an order, it's very important that you use a referral code. I would love for you to use mine. I'm going to put a QR code up on screen right now. Please take the time to scan that QR code and use it before you place your order. It will get you 3 months of free full self-driving. That's a $300 value. There's no reason to buy a Tesla without using a referral code. It costs you nothing. It benefits you. There are other referral codes out there. I would love for you to use mine if any of the content in my videos, if you find it useful. It's a way of saying thank you, but whatever you do, even if you don't use my code, use a code when you're buying a Tesla. Well, despite getting this software update tonight, I know we're still expecting the summer release sometime soon. I don't know what the version number is going to be of that 2026 release, but there are a few new features that have been well documented on the internet. I won't bother regurgitating all that information here. You can go look it up if you're interested, but I think that'll be the next major update we get. I actually hope that the primary thing that will come with that summer update this year might be a navigation data update. Navigation data is getting a little long in the tooth. I think it was the 42nd week of 2025. I'm doing this from memory, but it's been a while. We're already at the end of July, and it hasn't been a year, but it's been 7, 8, 9 months. I don't know exactly how long since we've had a nav update. I'd like to see a new navigation package updated. I have read online that if you find problems where your car routinely does the wrong thing at a particular place, that you can fix some of those behaviors by contributing at OpenStreetMaps. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't have any personal experience with it other than I've started making a few minor changes to roads that I frequent in and around my neighborhoods where there were no speed limits defined on the OpenStreetMaps, or where there was a no right turn on red sign in real life but was not indicated on the map. So I've made a few submissions. I will be curious the next time we get a map update whether or not those types of things actually do get included. So if it works, that's really fantastic that there's a way to user contribute changes to make things improve for your Tesla driving experience. Good decision, car. We need to wait. Vehicles come flying around that bridge, even though it's only a 40-mile-an-hour zone. People love to speed, so it's always best to wait. Hey Siri, turn on garage LED light. Hey Siri, open the garage door.
Opening the garage door. Well, thanks for riding along. We'll see you in the next one.